What's up, guys? My name's Kevin Boudreau, and I'm so excited that I just wrapped up a painting that I want to share with you guys. So let's get right into it. It all started right here with this sketch. Now that I had my sketch, I had to move on to the next step, which was to photograph the sketch and put it into a program called Procreate on my iPad Pro. Using this program, I was able to make slight modifications that I thought would better fit the canvas. I also made a fine line drawing of the image. Now I just had to find a canvas. Unfortunately, I didn't have any large canvases lying around, but I did have this piece that I haven't worked on in over a year, so I figured it was time to just spray paint over it. I feel like my focus on my artwork over the past year has changed a lot, so I wasn't really sad to see this one go. There was a lot of issues that I saw with it, so it was just time to do something new on it. At this point, I'm just having a little fun with the spray paint, just putting a couple signatures that actually eventually end up getting covered. And then it looks like I'm having a little too much fun just spraying the bottom of the can and then splattering that paint at the canvas. From there, I went back and darkened the edges of the canvas to kind of frame it a little more and create a vignette appearance. Once the canvas was dry, I was able to project the line drawing that I had made earlier at the canvas and trace it out with a white acrylic paint marker. Now I knew the background was going to be blue. I made my line drawing red in Procreate, and of course I thought it'd be smart to line everything in white so that there would be separation and clarity. And now it's finally time to get started on painting. To do this painting, I am using the Golden Fluid Acrylics brand. And of course, I thought it would be smart to start at the top left so not to smudge anything, and just kind of work my way down on the left side and just focus on the vine to start. A lot of times people ask me where my inspiration might come from. For this piece, and lately, I've just been inspired by childhood nostalgia. I used to love playing Super Mario on my Super Nintendo, so this piece just kind of meant something to me. The piranha plants were always super cool. But of course, I don't want to copy exactly what Mario had in the game. I want to make my own piranha plant. I want to make this thing crazy looking. I have this ridiculous tongue coming out that also kind of references the Venom comics that I grew up reading, or I shouldn't say reading, more or less just looking at because the pictures were so striking. Beyond that, I of course changed the top of it and made a little spray can out of it so that there is a nozzle in the top right. There is the rim, the metal that's around the rim of the spray can for where the lips would be. So I'm just kind of changing things a little bit. And later, of course, you will see that instead of a question mark on the box, I made an exclamation mark because you better watch out for this thing. You'll also notice that the setting where I'm painting has changed a couple times. I started my first session at the shop with my buddy Mike, who I own Cardinal Tattoo with, and we just had a nice little paint day to start there. And the next session was done during a Twitch live stream, which at the moment I am taking a break from. I can't promise I'll be back to Twitch, but that is because I have been so into my painting lately, and I feel like, I love people joining in, but it is a distraction from my artwork. And on the subject of distractions from my artwork, there is some footage that is missing because whenever my battery died, I was in no rush to replace it. I do apologize, but I honestly I get so lost in these paintings and I just want to keep doing them. And I have quite a few new acrylics that I've done actually after this painting that there will be short format videos on. I will not have long format videos on them because again, it's been so distracting. That's the one thing I've learned this year is that I need to focus on my artwork and stop worrying about camera angles and painting a certain way to make sure the footage is there. It's just been a lot for me, and it's just something that I want to address in this year to come. So with that being said, you will still get videos. Don't worry, whether they're long format, short format, there will still be videos, but I do want to take time to focus on making sure my art gets better. So let's talk a little bit about art getting better. I was messing with some glazes that you can see here, and I had a lot of fun, and I was stoked on the outcome. The glazes I'm talking about are those little yellow circles that look like delicious little biscuits. You could see I changed the tone a little bit, and I'm adding some yellow into it, And to do that, I actually thinned out my paint with 50%. It was a mix. It was 50% of the golden matte medium and a slow dry acrylic retarder that I bought on Amazon. I don't even know the brand, but I mixed 50-50% ratio and was able to just continually glaze. And because it's a slower drying process, I was also using the blow dryer to make sure it speeds up that process. As you could tell, there are multiple layers going on. I'm basically just layering down paint and then just kind of glazing over to see what kind of effects I can create. I wanted to make sure I had a lot of texture going on with the tongue, kind of to match what's going on in the vine and create areas that are smooth, areas that are texture, so that overall it's just a pleasing image. Of course, I also go back into the teeth. I want to make sure that those are nice and stained looking. This little plant wouldn't have perfect teeth. It lives in the wild. It's going to have some crazy stains going on. So that's also another part that I look forward to in this painting. Another thing I'm noticing while I'm watching this playback and, just checking out my own process is that I'm basically just picking a tone to lay down. And from there, I am just working the tone up between some highlights and between some darks where the shadows are to just kind of create some contrast and depth and kind of bring this plant to life. I realized that I definitely miss painting lately. I have been tattooing for the past 16 years, and when I used to paint kind of this surreal subject matter like this and try to kind of, I guess, get a little realistic with my work. But when I started tattooing, I started simplifying things. I started doing hard edge like line work on my work just because I thought that it would pop off the skin better and hold longer over time. So on a canvas, you can kind of experiment and just add more textures, add more fur. It's more forgiving than skin, obviously. So in this year to come, I think that's going to be one of my focuses, is to get back to painting a little bit the way I used to, but also adding in some of the things that I've learned over time. And of course, I'll still be tattooing, but I think one of my goals will maybe be to start seeking out galleries. I think having a gallery showing would be great. I want to just venture out with my artwork and I guess see where I can go with it. Currently, at the time of me editing this, I have actually done 2 more acrylic paintings after this one that I plan to put out. As I said earlier, I've been just painting nonstop lately. I've been very inspired, so I can't wait to, I guess, just keep creating more and more of a series, a body of work. I'm just trying to stay focused this year and really weed out the things that distract me and just kind of create little goals for myself. This year has definitely been tricky. Tattooing slowed down a lot for me, and I was pursuing the YouTube thing, and I think I got kind of lost, to be honest. I found that it's very easy to fall into a pattern of trying to figure out what's going to make you money, what the latest trend is, how to record best, how to get, people's attention. But at the end of the day, I paint for me. I want to get these images and ideas out of my head. And if I don't, it's like this crazy, I don't know, I guess like sickness or annoyance that is just buzzing in the back of my head. And I really need to get these ideas out so that I could feel fulfilled. Hopefully, if some of you guys are artists that are watching, you guys understand and know that you guys are not alone. That is just, something that happens. We get sidetracked very easily, for me, myself at least. And, just it's important to not forget why we create. Anyways, let's pick it back up here and get back to this painting. So I mentioned earlier that there would be a better example of the glazing process that I used when I got to the box. So you could see here that I used pretty much a dark brown and a white to render the box as much as I could. I also went in with some black to create some of the shadows, especially in the holes of the box, and just a little underneath where the plant would lie on the box. Now, the reason I did this instead of using yellow was actually strategic, because yellow, if you don't know, is a very transparent color. It takes a lot of layers to create an opaque, rich look to the subject matter. So once I was happy with the rendering that I did on the box, I grabbed the slow dry acrylic retarder and the matte medium. I mixed them 50-50. And I mixed a little yellow in with that, and then I just started glazing right over the surface. Now, I could have kept glazing more and more of the yellow over until it was super, super bright, but I thought it would have been a little obnoxious and kind of defeated the point of trying to make this box look like it's been through some wear and tear. It's been on a journey. It's been damaged. This thing is just out there in nature. I'm trying to tell a story, and I'm doing that by making this box look weathered. Once I did all of that, I just kind of went back around the entire piece and just fine-tuned any little highlights or made more dark areas, just anything to just bump up the contrast and give it that little definition that I felt it needed. I'm sure some of you out there want to know how long this took or how many sessions this was, and I honestly don't know. I've just been getting lost in my work lately. I was so happy with the outcome of this piece, and I think it really inspired me to do more pieces now. I did do a piece after this one that was a little smaller. It's a 12 by 12, but it's a character with background. There's not really a background on this piece, and I like going back and forth with that. Sometimes I'll do smaller pieces, no background, sometimes a larger piece, but I'm just inspired right now, and I can't wait to see what I paint next. I hope you guys are enjoying this, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching my process. The only thing really left to do after this is put a nice clear coat over this. And to do that, I'm going to use a gloss varnish from Winsor Newton. I had this laying around. I know it says oil, but oil is okay to go over acrylic, not the other way around. So I'm just going to put a nice coat of gloss finish over this, and when it dries, it will not look as glossy. I think in the future I may go to somewhat of a satin finish, but it definitely needs something. I feel like when you varnish an acrylic piece, some of the dark tones become richer and there's even more contrast. And before I show you guys the final product, I do want to let you know that I do plan to make prints of these. They will be available on my website, kbuart.com. However, I'm only doing a limited run, so be sure to follow along on all the social media platforms that I listed in the description of this video. And without further ado, here it is, the final product.